Welcome back to another episode of Green Bay Packers Mock the Mock, where we take a look at your guys' mock drafts, break them down, and go over them. This is episode number 3. Really appreciate you guys sending over your mocks on my Packers Discord channel. The link is down in the description below. It's absolutely free to do. There's a mock draft channel. Post your mocks there, and maybe they'll be featured in the next episode. Also, go down and click that subscribe button if you happen to be a new viewer here and want to stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers through this entire offseason. Free agency is next week. Obviously, the draft is a couple months away, but there's endless draft content on this channel. So if you want to stay in the loop, you'll find all your Packers news the quickest here on this channel. Go down and click subscribe. All right, so without further ado, let's dive right into it. I have 4 mock drafts to go over today that you guys posted over on the Discord. Let's get into the first one, and this one's by user Badger Packed Sports Justin, and it's a 3-round mock draft on the PFF simulator. Bringing it up on the screen, we see it's a 3-round mock draft, and at pick 23, the Packers end up with James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. And from surface level, you might be going, wow, like no way he falls to that point. But it seems more and more likely at this point, I know we're still less than 2 months away, that James Pierce, honestly, he could fall out of the first round. And that's crazy to say, but when you look at the type of player he is, a lighter edge, a very stiff edge, usually when you have a lighter edge, you want them to have a lot of bend, right? He doesn't really have that. And yes, he has a ton of production coming out of Tennessee. And then add on the potential character concerns. I know there's a bunch of stories about that. I haven't really looked into them myself. I feel like a lot of that stuff around the draft time is kind of a lot of smoke. So it's not something I look into too much. But James Pierce Jr., he could be available for the Packers at 23, where I think a lot of us might be thinking, oh, well, draft this guy. But the Packers likely won't be drafting James Pierce if he falls to 23 anyways. The Packers aren't usually the team to end a trend where a player's falling for some reason, whether that's, the size, stiffness, character concerns, or all three together. They're not going to be the team to just end that. But I will say this, James Pierce is an intriguing player. He's 17 on the consensus big board, and you see why. The past 2 seasons, a ton of production at Tennessee, a ton of production getting after the quarterback with a 23.0 pass rush win rate, coming off an 8-sack season. 2023 was much higher. About a year ago, a lot of people had James Pierce Jr. for the 2025 draft as the number 1 pick. Like a lot of people thought he'd become that. And he still has a ton of talent. 13 sacks in 2023, good against the run, great pass rush grade. And he's an awesome athlete, but he is a smaller edge, 6'5", so he has the height, but the weight is a little bit of a concern here at 245. He has the speed, there's no doubt about it. 4.47, I mean, that is an elite speed for an edge rusher. He has extreme speed. Doesn't have great vertical, so the explosion's not crazy, right? But he still has a good 10-yard split, so nice explosion there. Just not vertically. Broad jump, nice at 10'3", arm length 32 inches, 32.75. But when you look at James Pierce in the tape, you'd expect this guy to have, like I said earlier, a lot more bend to his game, and he doesn't. Like, he's a very stiff edge rusher, and you kind of worry about, his size transitioning to the NFL without having much bend. Is it really going to work at the next level? I don't mind the pick. I would not mind the Packers selecting James Pierce at 23. I just don't know if he falls to that point. Not only will he go in the first round, or will the Packers actually end that trend. For the second pick, he has us selecting Alik Ayumanor, receiver from Stanford. Now, there's other receivers I like in this draft more than Ayumanor, but that doesn't mean he's not a quality receiver or isn't someone that the Packers should be targeting, because he does fit our thresholds. And I think this would be great value at 55. Now, if someone like Jaden Higgins was available here, I'd rather Jaden Higgins, but I could honestly see Higgins going early in the second, maybe even sneaking into the first round. So Ayumanor might be a guy that is available at 55. And you see why he's intriguing. I mean, when you just watch the game against Travis Hunter, man-to-man coverage, I think he went for like 300 yards. Now, Hunter was coming off, I believe, a spleen injury or something weird like that. So that's something you take into effect. But Ayumanor is a very interesting prospect. Very good athlete, 9.67 RES. He's 6'1", 206, ran a 4.44 40 with elite explosion, 38.5 vertical, and a 10'7" broad jump. He's 52 on the consensus big board, so that might be right around that. He might come off off the board right around that spot. And we see the past 2 seasons, 2 really solid seasons, 800 yards this past season for the Stanford offense, 6 touchdowns, 1,000 yards in 2023, and 6 touchdowns. Good versus man coverage, good contested catch rate, drop rate, tiny bit high at 8.7%. He had 237 deep yards, average depth of target 14.2. I wouldn't be mad at him at all. I wouldn't be mad at the Packers selecting Alik Ayumanor, depending who else is available. If Trey Harris is available, I'd honestly even consider him at 55 over Ayumanor, but they're close. I just like Trey Harris better. If Jaden Higgins is available, I like him a lot better. Matthew Golden will go in the first round. Jaden Higgins, like I said, I like better. Jalen Newell, someone that's flying up boards, but Ayumanor is a solid option, and he fits all the thresholds for the Packers. Now, for the next pick, something not really understanding the pick here. I know it's just a 3-round mock draft, so we don't see the rest of the picks here, but I would be a little annoyed if the Packers win a tight end in the 3rd round and Terrence Ferguson. Again, I don't really know his game because I haven't been looking into top 3-round tight ends, but I feel like there's other ones that I would rather. If we're going to go tight end in the 3rd round, if Harold Fannon's available, that's a guy that would be intriguing, but I still wouldn't want the Packers to go tight end in the 3rd round. So first 2 picks, I'm all about. This 3rd one here, not so much. For the next mock draft, it's another 3-round mock draft. Don't worry, we have a couple 7-rounders for the final 2. Just wanted to get a couple 3-rounders out of the way. And this is from user Go Pack Go. Bringing it up on the screen, really solid mock, really solid 3-round mock. If it went this way for the Packers, I'd be happy with the first 3 rounds. Matthew Golden is someone that I'm not sure is going to be available at 23. I think he could go before Burden. All right, I almost guarantee he goes before Burden. I think he could go before Egbuka. He's flying up boards due to the crazy 40-yard dash. I think he ran a 4.29. He's a burner. Take the top off of defense. I watched his tape before he participated in the combine, and I really liked him. I really liked him because I just thought of him in the Packers offense. And he does replicate, what we're going to miss from Christian Watson, an outside guy, very fast, deep threat, take the top off of defense. Matthew Golden is intriguing. And if he's available 23, maybe the Packers break the, 23-year long streak without taking a receiver in the first round. Maybe we'll see. Basaraski Thomas, we've talked about him a ton. If he's available at 55, you got to run the card up, in my opinion. This guy could sneak into the first. I think he'll go early second. The Packers very well could trade up for Basaraski Thomas. We have a need at cornerback. It seems Jair's on his way out. Thomas is a solid outside cornerback, has the physicals. The only thing he tested in at the combine was broad jump, but we see 6'1", 197 pounds. He's 43 on the consensus big board. So again, I do see him going earlier than where the Packers pick at 55. Had a great couple seasons, especially 2024. 50.2 passer rating allowed, low completion percentage allowed, good man coverage grade, good zone coverage grade, all around a very solid cornerback. And an outside cornerback that the Packers, I would love for them to add to their building. The final player is Wyatt Millam, tackle from West Virginia. This just feels like a Packers player when you take a look at his profile, listed as a tackle, but a guy that likely would transition into guard at the NFL level due to his arm length. I think it's just over 32-inch arms there. So not really the long enough arms to play tackle for the Green Bay Packers per se. But he does have the versatility. And I feel like every single offensive lineman the Packers draft, they're versatile. Like everyone on that line, outside of maybe Josh Myers, can play multiple positions. And Millam's coming off a tremendous season at left tackle for the Mountaineers offense, a 91.0 grade, didn't allow a single sack for the past 3 seasons. And that's in a lot of snaps, over 700 snaps every single year. This guy didn't allow a single sack at left tackle, I mean, that's so impressive. He didn't allow a quarterback hit the past 2 seasons. He only allowed 1 quarterback hit in the past 3 seasons. I think this would be a phenomenal pick in the 3rd round and just continue the trend of middle round linemen that the Packers somehow get. And everyone in a couple years are sitting there going, how does this keep happening? He's a pretty solid athlete, scored a 7.85 RAS. He has the height. That's the thing. Like, he has crazy height and shorter arms, 32.30. He's got the T-Rex arms for his height, right? 6'6.4", 313 pounds, decent speed, okay speed, good explosion, good size. If he had 34-inch arms, this is a left tackle day and night, no problem. but I think you could move him into guard and you kind of have an oversized, Mekhi Becton style guard, which seems like it's trending that way in the NFL where there's not those parameters anymore where it's like, oh, your guards have to be, 6'4", 6'5". You could put a taller guy in there and it can work. And I think Wyatt Millam is a guy where, if we move on from Josh Myers, move Elton Jenkins into center, you could plug him in, or he could compete with Sean Ryan, Jordan Morgan, play tackle in a pinch. There's a lot of options there. Guys, if you don't want to stink like the Bears will in the 2025 season, that's where today's video sponsor, Mando, comes in. I've been using Mando for a while now, and one of my favorite products of theirs is the whole body spray deodorant. It's very quick and easy to use anywhere on your body, right before you have to head out of the house, and it gives you up to 72 hours of odor control. I have the bourbon leather scent, which is really, really nice. And like I said, Mando is a whole body deodorant, not only the spray, but the stick deodorant where you can use anywhere on your body. Also, all their products are baking soda free and paraben free, so that's a massive plus. You can choose from a variety of fresh scents like bourbon leather, just like I have in the spray deodorant there, Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport. There's tons of different options to choose from. And if you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now, you can even find them in Walmart and Target and other retailers across the country. But for the best deals, definitely go to shopmando.com. And at shopmando.com, they offer you a Mando starter pack, and it's perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, such as mini body wash or deodorant wipes. I really like the deodorant wipes as well. And to top that all off, it includes free shipping. And of course, I have a hookup for you guys. If you go to shopmando.com and use code PACK, P-A-C-K, you'll get $5 off your starter pack at shopmando.com. That equates to over 40% off your first starter pack at shopmando.com with code PACK, P-A-C-K. And like I said, to top it all off, that includes free shipping. Supporting the sponsor is supporting the channel, guys. So if you want to smell fresher, stay drier, and not stink like the Chicago Bears, go check out Mando at shopmando.com. All right, so now back into the video. Let's get into the final 2 mock drafts that we're going to go over from you guys over on my Discord. This one's from 6 Cents RG, and it's a 7-round mock draft. Bringing it up on the screen, it does include a trade. This is the first mock draft I'm mocking that does include a trade, and we're trading down from 23 to 31 with the Kansas City Chiefs, giving a 5th and picking up a 3rd. I would be happy with that value. I think the Packers very well could trade down in this draft. I think there's a lot of opportunity for that. And I think if you're going to trade down out of the first round, or at least down into the first round in a draft, this is the perfect one to do so long one of your top prospects isn't available on the board. So the Packers trade with the Chiefs here, go down to 31 and snag Gray Zabel, tackle out of North Dakota State. And he's listed as a tackle, but he's not going to be a tackle at the NFL level. He's probably the best center out of the entire class. So if you feel a team's going to overpay Josh Myers, maybe the Bears do, right? And we need to plug a day 1 starting center in out of the draft, Gray Zabel is your guy. So I wouldn't necessarily be mad at this. The Packers let Josh Myers walk, save the money, trade down, pick up an extra 3rd round, and get the #1 center in the class that has a ton of versatility. Like, this guy can literally play all 5 positions. Sound familiar? Sounds a lot like Zach Tom, right? Gray Zabel, I would not be mad at a selection here in the first round at pick 31. And the reason he's going to be, the #1 center or guard, he also has 32-inch arms. He is taller, similar to Wyatt Millam, 22 years old, almost 23. We can see he had a 90-point grade this past season, only allowed 1 sack. And you can see the versatility. I mean, his snaps by alignment over the past 3 seasons. Left tackle in 2024. In 2023, he played left guard, 3 snaps at right guard, and mainly right tackle. In 2022, he played left tackle, left guard, center, and right tackle. So he's literally played all 5 positions for the past 3 seasons. Now, it's only 3 snaps at right guard, but you could really put this guy anywhere. And honestly, if the Packers selected him at 23, I'd be like, maybe you could trade down a little bit and still get this guy and get some extra draft capital. So that's why I really like this trade here. And I'd be all for Gray Zabel, as the new center for the Packers. Then he has us selecting Azariah Thomas at 55 and Trey Harris at 87. I mean, I guess you guys know what to put in mock drafts to make me like them, because Azariah Thomas at 55, like I said, that would be a steal. Trey Harris at 87 would be a steal. And not to mention, the next 2 picks after that are also phenomenal picks, in my opinion. Jared Wilson is someone I've recently done a little research on this past week, and man, that's a great player there. And I don't know if you'd go 2 centers in the first 3 rounds, maybe you really project Gray Zabel as a guard and Jared Wilson becomes your center. I'm not mad at adding offensive line talent. That's for sure. I just don't know if you would spend 2 premium day 2, day 1 picks on 2 guys that project to center. Jared Wilson's a phenomenal story, a linebacker converted to center at Georgia, and he's a freak athlete. Trey Harris, you guys know, I love. He's one of my top receivers in this draft class, and if we somehow snag him in the 3rd round, I'm going to be, jumping off the walls here in the office. So, I really, really like him. Jared Wilson, like I said, is intriguing for sure. When you look at Jared Wilson's athletic profile, he scored a 9.98. He's 6'3", 310. 32.38-inch arms, so really does project to, interior linemen, mainly center there. Elite speed, 4.84. Elite explosion, and a good shuttle at 4.56. He projects on the consensus board as the 100th prospect, so getting him at 95 would be completely fine by me. A true pass set pass block grade of 90.5. This past season, 84.9 pass block grade. We could see he played 800 snaps at center in 2024. Not much playtime under his belt. Like I said, it's a very interesting story if you look him up. But I really like him. He's an athletic freak. I wouldn't mind adding him to the room. I just don't know if getting Gray Zabel and Jared Wilson all in the top 100 makes a ton of sense. Then we see Noel Williams. You guys know I really like him at cornerback. He can be our punt returner day 1. He's coming off a 7 interception season for Cal. Getting Azarai Thomas and Noel Williams, I think, would be a home run for this cornerback group. Tyler Show, the Packers might add another quarterback. To me, it's a wasted pick unless they plan on trading Malik Willis. Just like Michael Pratt. I mean, it just didn't seem like a pick that made a ton of sense. And now that we have Malik Willis, that's even more of the case. I just feel like you should go with guys that are going to contribute on special teams in these later rounds, such as Johnny Walker, such as Elijah Badger. I also really like Johnny Walker. Not only, the production at Mizzou, but, we already have Evan Williams. Let's add Johnny Walker, right? And Elijah Badger is actually one of my favorite later round receivers in this draft, and he tested well at the combine. Watched his tape. He's an intriguing guy that can contribute on special teams day 1 and could potentially become, rotational receiver later in later years as like a Z guy, motion Z receiver, outside guy, but has some versatility as well. All right, let's go over our final mock draft, and this one's by user Fantasy Football Flash. It's another 7-rounder here on Pro Football Network's mock draft simulator, so a little bit of a different one here, so you can see some of the players move around, or some of the players that aren't on PFF, such as Andrew Armstrong, which I really like out of Arkansas, definitely a Packers type receiver. But we go Derek Harmon at 23. Definitely see this guy going in the first round. Definitely see the links to the Green Bay Packers. He's the 30th ranked prospect on the consensus big board. Great run defender, great pass rusher coming off a 5-sack season, all around a very solid defensive lineman. I can see why he's tied to the Packers a lot. 6'5", 310. Pass rush win rate 17.6%. Then at the second pick, which is at 54, I think the Packers pick at 55, so I don't know what the discrepancy is here, but of course it's Azarai Thomas. You can see the theme here. I think that's 3 straight drafts. The last 3 include Azarai Thomas. I think we know what Packers fans want. Then we go Jared Ivey and Jordan Birch. I love this. If the Packers can get 3rd, 4th round, Jared Ivey, Jordan Birch, and double up on that edge room, just adding heavy edges, like guys that will just, blow over some tackles in the NFL, I'm completely on board with this. Jared Ivey, I love Jordan Birch. Ivey didn't test at the combine, but we see the size here. 6'5", almost 6'6", 274 pounds, almost 34-inch arms. He's 98th on consensus, and Jordan Birch is 79th. So maybe if you flipped these 2 around, that would kind of make more sense, but you never know with the draft. Things change so much and we're so far out. But Jared Ivey coming off double 8-sack seasons. This past season had a phenomenal grade of 90.6, 16.8 pass rush win rate, also a good run defense grade, good run stop rate. I think he's a very good value edge rusher in the 3rd round, 2nd to 3rd round. He's ranked higher on PFF, but again, he's at 98 on the consensus big board. Then Jordan Birch. I love this as well. A little bit shorter, but right around the same size, 6'4", and then at the combine came in at 279, a little lighter than what he was listed as, probably to test with this great speed that he ran, a 4.67 40. 10-yard split, a little lackluster. That is a little worrisome there, but this guy literally ran 21 miles an hour in a game last season, and he was playing a lot heavier than 279. So it's very intriguing. And you see he's coming off a 10-sack season, a 15.7 pass rush win rate, poor run stop rate at 2.9%, but this guy knows how to get after the quarterback. As you can see, PFF has him listed as 6'6", 295, tested a lot lighter than that, but some players do that to get better, explosion grades, 40-yard times and whatnot, and then bulk back up for the season, which could be the case here with Jordan Birch, but adding Ivy and Birch, I'm all for. Then he has us going Seth McLaughlin out of Ohio State, tore his Achilles in November in practice. So that's probably going to make him fall farther than this. He's a very talented center, maybe would be one of the top ones if fully healthy. I think there's other options such as Jake Majors or Jonah Monheim, Jared Wilson a little earlier than this that I feel more comfortable with if it's going to be a guy that, maybe we need him right away. Seth McLaughlin might not be ready right away. Za Frazier ran really, really fast at a combine. I'm fine with that at pick 200. We talked about Andrew Armstrong. I really like the profile there for the Packers. Same with Kyle Williams. I think he goes a lot sooner than this. Kyle Williams out of Washington State, ton of production the past couple seasons. And I'm completely on board with these two receivers late in the draft. Maybe we want to go one a little bit early, but I'm not mad at going, double edge there. 4 straight defenses is crazy. I think we need to add an offensive player maybe in one of those rounds. But overall, not mad at the 7-round mock. So that does it for episode 3 of Green Bay Packers Mock the Mock Draft. If you guys want your mock draft featured, make sure to head over to the Discord down in the description. It's also great to talk Packers ball with a bunch of fans over on that Discord. It's absolutely free to join. Really appreciate you guys coming by to the video. Free agency is next week. Really, really hyped for Monday when legal tampering opens. If we get a similar situation as last year where it's like, we signed Josh Jacobs, we have Jacobs and Jones, and then Jones is cut. Then we signed Xavier McKinney. I was live for all of that, so maybe I'll go live Monday. Let me know down in the comments below. Should I just be live Monday just to see what's happening around the league? Let me know in the comments below. But I appreciate you guys coming by. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack Go.